Welcome everybody. This week we're going to talk about a God somewhere. A God somewhere. I don't know. I know that not a lot of people read it when it came out. It was, let's see, when did it come out? It came out in 2010 originally. This book was $24.99 for a paperback. And needless to say, a lot of people didn't buy it. I read it, and I thought it was amazing. And I tried to sell it to so many people, but the price point was just so high. And so just not a lot of people went for it. But they did re-release it again a few years later and at a cheaper price. But this book sort of came at the time when Jim Lee, he had sold Wildstorm to DC Comics. And so I think they had a lot of stuff in the pipeline that had to come out. Because it's obvious to me that even though this was released as a graphic novel, it was meant to be a miniseries. Because it's broken up into like 22-page chapters. So what is it about? I'm going to read you just from the first page. When you're born, it's all about you. You think. And as you get older, things change. And you're not the center of attention anymore. Not unless you work at it. And the older you get, the harder you have to work. Until eventually, maybe, you learn the cruelest lesson in life. That no matter who you are, no matter what you do, no matter what happens to you, you're just another character in somebody else's story. That's some great prose. But when you see the art that it goes with, which hopefully we will scroll here, it's a little girl crying, walking through a war-torn, like just a complete destruction, fire everywhere. And she's crying, holding a doll, and she comes upon the body of her mother who's missing half her head. And that's how the book starts. The book was written by John Arcudi, art by Peter Snejbjerg. I think that's how you say it. It's Snejbjerg. So what works about the book? I think the art really sells the book because it's a really violent book and a really dark book. And it's definitely in that maxi-mortal Superman Apocrypha type of range. It's a book that deals, it works on like many different levels. Ostensibly, one of the main characters, there's two main characters, two brothers who have grown up kind of affluent in Simi Valley, and their best friend, who's African American, and it just starts off with them talking. Then there's some sort of meteor crash or something later that night, and it affects one of the white brothers. It affects one of them, and he gets these superhuman powers, and it's a really dark book. I mean, he gets these powers. For a while, he does heroic things, and then he starts realizing, or he stops sleeping, and he starts realizing that there's no point to doing anything good or right. That in his mind, these terms, right and wrong, don't really mean much of anything anymore. And then he just starts going on a campaign of complete destruction, killing. I mean, this book is full of pages of arms flying at the viewer. I mean, just complete carnage and destruction. And his best friend is sort of following him, trying to figure out like why he's doing it. Like, why are you killing all these people? And he never has much of an answer. He just does it. There was another page in the book that this book works on sort of the dystopian superhero level, but it also works as a sort of dissection of racial politics. And if you don't know what I mean by that, there's a section in the book where Eric is the one who gets the superpowers, and he's talking to, I think his friend's name is Sam, and Sam has all these sort of black history books, and he goes, wow, you're still hitting these books. This is the white friend talking. What are all these black history books for? And, his friend who's black says, well, for some reason I found them interesting. Oh, right. And then the white friend says, it's just I never think of us being different, that is all. And the black friend replies, that's probably a lot easier for you than it is for me. And when I read that, I kind of thought, if that doesn't sort of like hit white privilege on the nose, I don't know what doesn't. It's sort of saying like, I don't know why you need to read these books, bro. I just never thought you were any different than me. And he goes, well, I am treated differently than you. So there's that part of their relationship that sort of goes throughout the book, in addition to this sort of crazy dystopia. And then it's sort of also a book that tears apart the whole concept of God. And like the title, A God Somewhere, comes from a dream that Eric has. Eric is the one with the superpowers killing everybody. It comes from a dream he had where he created a whole other universe, but then he got bored and left this universe. He goes, I must have been a god somewhere at some point, but I think I left the universe I created, and now all these people are worshiping me, but they don't even know that I'm not there. And so I thought it was amazing. I thought the book was amazing because, for one thing, it raised a lot more questions than I'm used to getting from a comic book. And it posits a lot of questions to you that you won't find yourself having an easy answer for. So it's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable read, but a great read. And I don't know if it's still in print. I really hope it is. But I just wanted to bring your guys' attention to it. I love these types of stories. That's probably why I loved Man of Steel. Because I don't really think anybody with superpowers would act in a benevolent manner. There, I said it. So, A God Somewhere. Check it out. John Arcudi, Peter Snejbjerg. Remember to like us. Remember to subscribe. And remember that here at Comic Impact, we care about your well-being.